Good morning, everyone. All right, so we're going to start working on ratios tables today. So, first thing we're going to do is write our definition. Two ratios that describe the same relationship are equivalent ratios. Equivalent ratios. This means that the ratios are equal. A ratio table, that's what we're going to work on today. A ratio table is a way to find and organize equivalent ratios. Directions. Find the missing values in the ratio table and then write the equivalent ratios. So we have two sets of directions. Find the missing values and then write the equivalent ratios. Boys and girls, when you're using a ratio table, the first thing you want to do is look at the very first ratio in your table. 1 pen is to 3 pencils as how many pens are to 9? Okay, so the first thing I'm focusing on, I see a 3 and a 9 down here. So I know to get from 3 to 9, we do times 3. So if I'm going to have 3 times the amount of pencils, I would also have to have 3 times the amount of pens. So the amount of pens would have to be 3. Now, notice if you try to go from 3 to 5, 3 times nothing is 5, so you don't want to do that. You always want to go back to your first ratio. Always go back to the 1 to 3. Now, how do I get from 1 to 5? 1 times 5 is 5, so I'm going to take my 3 times 5, so that missing term is going to be 15. So now we're going to come over here and write 1 is to 3, as 3 is to 9, as 5 is to 15. That would be your final answer. All right, let's take a look at the next one. So remember, we always want to keep focusing on that first ratio. 4 is to 6 as what is to 12? So see if you can find a relationship between two of your terms. So we know 6 times 2 is 12. So I'm going to have to multiply 4 times 2, and that is 8. Remember, you don't want to go from 8 to 24. You always going to want to go back to the initial ratio. So now, how do we get from 4 to 24? Well, 4 times 6 is 24. So now I'm going to take my 6 times 6, and that is 36. Final answer, 4 is to 6, as 8 is to 12, as 24 is to 36. Final answer. Now, this one looks a little bit different because notice the number on the top is bigger, but that is okay because this is not a fraction, this is a ratio. So 5 euros, a euro is the form of money that they use in Europe. So if you were to go to Spain, France, Germany, etc., you would not use dollars, you would use what are called euros. 5 euros is to $4, as 10 euros is to how many dollars? So start with the first ratio and look at the relationship between 5 and 10. So we all know 5 times 2 is 10. So 4 times 2 is 8. Always go back to the original ratio to find your missing terms. How do we get from 4 to 32? 4 times 8, so up here I'm going to do 5 times 8, and that is 40. So our final answer will say 5 is to 4, as 10 is to 8, as 40 is to 32. All right, moving on to the last page of notes. Complete the ratio table to solve the problem. For every 5 tickets that you sell, your friend sells 6. You sell a total of 20 tickets. How many does your friend sell? Let's read that again. That was a lot of information. For every 5 tickets that you sell, your friend sells 6. You sell a total of 20 tickets. How many does your friend sell? This is the type of problem where a ratio table will be a really easy way to find the answer. All right, notice that we're starting with you selling 5 and ending with you selling 20. Usually, you're going to look at the number that you started counting with, and that's the number that you're going to count by. So we're going to count by 5s. So I'm going to fill in my missing terms for you with 10 and 15. 5, 10, 15, and 20. Now, to find my missing terms, I'm going to multiply 5 times 2 and 6 times 2. So that first missing term would be 12. Now, to get from 5 to 15, that's times 3. So we're going to do 6 times 3. So if you sell 15, your friend sells 18 tickets. If you sell 20 tickets, how many did your friend sell? Well, 5 times 4 is 20, and 6 times 4 is 24. For every 5 tickets that you sell, your friend sells 6. You sell a total of 20 tickets. How many does your friend sell? Your friend sells 24 tickets. Susan, Julie, and Betsy want to do some extra good in the world besides teaching. They decide to donate footballs and baseballs to the Boys and Girls Club. The ratio of footballs to baseballs is 5 to 8. The ladies donate 56 baseballs. Create a ratio table for the given information. How many footballs do they donate? Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is label. And if you go back and look at the original ratio, it says that footballs is 5, 2 baseballs is 8. So I'm going to put the footballs on the top and the baseballs on the bottom. And that initial ratio is 5 footballs to 8 baseballs. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Okay, so the ladies donate 56 baseballs. All right, 56 baseballs. So where is 56 going to go? So I'm going to start with my initial ratio. I'm focusing on 5 to 8. 5 to 8. So to get from 5 to 10 is times 2. So 8 times 2 is 16. 5 times 3 is 15. 8 times 3 is 24. Go back to the number 5. 5 times 4 is 20. 8 times 4 is 32. 5 times 5 is 25. 8 times 5 is 40. 5 times 6 is 30. 8 times 6 is 48. 5 times 7 is 35. 8 times 7 is 56. Oh, I think that was the number we're looking for. The ladies donate 56 baseballs. How many footballs do they donate? So now we're going to focus on if the ladies donated 56 baseballs, that means they also donated 35 footballs. Okay, so this last one is going to be a little bit tricky. So we have to find missing terms for here, 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 and here. Now, when you're starting with a ratio like 15 to 3, and the next ratio that you're trying to get to is smaller than 15, there's something that you always want to do first. Always reduce the initial ratio to lowest terms. So if we're going to reduce this, I'm going to divide 15 by 3, and I'm going to divide 3 by 3. So 15 divided by 3 is 5, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. So this is the ratio we want to focus on. 15 to 3 is equal to 5 to 1. 5 to 1 is equal to 10 to what? So 5 times 2 and 1 times 2 would be 2. Now, if I went from 15 to 5 to 10, let's see, what if I put a 20 over here? Always go back to the initial ratio. So if I go back to the number 5, 5 times 4 is 20, and 1 times 4 is 4. So if it's ever a tricky one like that, always reduce your ratio to lowest terms first. So let's do that again. Let's look down here. 20 to 2. And now I'm trying to get from 2 to 3. That's pretty tricky. So always reduce first. So the greatest common factor of 20 and 2 is 2. So 20 divided by 2 is 10. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. This is the ratio we want to focus on for all of our conversions. So now to get from 1 to 3, 1 times 3, 10 times 3. So 20 to 2 is equal to 30 to 3. Last one, always reduce first if it's not already reduced. So first I'm going to divide 80 by 10. And I'm going to divide 10 by 10. So now this is the ratio we're going to focus on to find all of our missing terms. So 1 times 4, 8 times 4. Go back to the original ratio. 1 times 20, 8 times 20. All right, that is it, boys and girls. Make sure and email me if you need help.